welcome back to another Linux GameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Nintendo has canceled Metroid. No, not that one, but the good one, and Ark calls its player base cheap for not buying their early access DLC.
Besiege reaches another milestone, but that 1.0 is far away on a distant shore, and Tomb Raider gets another remake, but Farrell's not involved with this one.
Rocket League is officially in beta on Linux. Super disappointed pigs didn't sprout wings and took to the skies on Thursday, and having recouped all of the Pascal R&D money, Nvidia is finally ready to bring the low end some love.
I'm Ben Stone here at LGC Actual, switching all the bits, doing this nightmare fuel all under the Linux. Joined every week by our slightly injured, tamed Canadian podcaster, Master Spell.
Ow.
He's especially tamed this week.
And that voice, all the way from Space Portugal, Pedro
Hello.
Mateus. Joined by Shot Realm, live in the IRC, helping us form that special little bit we like to call Cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, let's see what's going on in each other's life organs real quick before we jump into the steamy news. Here, Sunday, caught the tail end of Dragon Con. It didn't smell that bad. That was definitely a thing, and I finished watching Colony, which was like the weirdest episodes of Lost I've ever seen. What's up, Jay Baby?
Yeah, so a couple things. Ven recommended a show for me last week that I could not remember for the life of me. I did remember that it had to do with British people, and it had the word Mr. in there. So lo and behold, I Google searched British show Mr. something, and the first result was that. So I know Ven got a kick out of that. Also, I done fucked up my back today, so I am in a whack ton of pain. So this is going to be a fun episode. Oh.
Me, I'm just, basically wrapping up my 2 weeks vacation. And yeah, I'll be back to work on Monday.
Well, let's get right to work on the horse, J-Man.
Yeah, the horse is giving us some interesting sales figures. It's the Steam update.
Oh man, how long does it take games to be cheap on Steam? Well, everyone collectively is going, well, it depends on how bad I want to play it and how much money I currently have, because it could be a very long time if those two are a bit out of whack. Coming from PC Gamer, they've kind of broke it down to determine how quickly most games hit $33.50 and the ever-elusive 75% off. And, well, you do have your AAA games. They're going to get their 50% discount in the average of, about 7 months on that business. Good indie games, or indie games that have a buck ton of hype behind them, usually hang on for about 9.2 months before getting with the cheapness. Jordan, you got some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it more or less confirms what we already know. They do like a big breakdown based on 2014, 2015, and what little data they have available for 2016. But it's basically when a game comes out, if you want to pick it up for dirt cheap, you probably have to wait for the next, not the upcoming seasonal sale, but the next one. But one thing I did notice reading through this is a lot of this doesn't really inform Linux sales, considering that when games come out on Linux, or at least bigger games come out on Linux, they get immediately discounted because they're already about a year or two old.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So we'll have to wait and see if SteamOS ever gets the day one support from the AAA publishers. Looking at you, Square Enix.
It's totally coming for Street Fighter, you guys, right? Right?
I don't trust Capcom.
I don't know. And for everything else, with procrastinators such as myself, there's Humble Bundle. Eventually they might show up. But speaking about things that should be on better sale.
Oh, it actually showed up, all right. It's Rocket League! It's the new Rumble update, as they call it. It brings a new mode to all those Windows playing people that have had the chance to play the game for the past 2 years, while us on Linux have been sitting on our asses with our thumbs up our buttholes and waiting. Just waiting. But they finally, with this new Rumble update, brought the Linux and Mac versions out in beta form, as it were. And you can actually, there was an issue that if you got the game with the Steam controller bundle, you couldn't download the game at first. They eventually fixed it after a couple of hours. But for just about everyone else, the game works-ish on my end. Two things that I've discovered so far don't really seem to work, which is anti-aliasing. I just can't get it. I can get some manner of FXAA if I force it through the Nvidia drivers, and disabling the FERPS limiter because it's constantly stuck at 60. It goes up to 62 every now and again, and then it comes back down to 60. Yeah, so that said, it launched out of the box for me. The controllers worked. I tried with the Mistress on the Steam box and with the Logitech F310 on this box right here. They work. They were sensibly mapped. The performance on the Steam box was exactly the same as the one on this one. It freezes on me when a match ends, and if I hit save replay, it just freezes. If I hit vote to rematch, it crashes, period. Just crashes the desktop. And there's a lot of people using Fedora or some other distros that can't seem to connect to online games because it says that the servers are always offline when they're actually not. That is because they hard-coded the path to the CA certificate bundle on a distribution. So if you're not using SteamOS or Debian or Ubuntu, there'll be a little command in the show notes that you can run, which I'm going to paste in ShutRealm Dynamic right now.
Everyone spam ShutRealm so that it gets washed away. Do it now.
You can just run that command right there, and it will symlink the Fedora CA bundle to the CA certificate CRT. That is the file that the game is actually looking for. Because if you don't, you can't play online.
That just seems kind of dumb to me, because why do you have to hardcode paths? With most OpenSSL libraries, it'll default to like a system path that you can just use unless you
there was another game that did this. It was Shadow of Mordor. If you tried to use the online features. Yeah, if you tried to access WB Play, it would always complain that you weren't old enough to connect because it couldn't actually check the certificate, and it just returned that error.
Listen, Pedro, you as a 30-year-old man need to get your parents' permission before you go online.
That's exactly how it is. I mean, it is out, and I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, because we talked, I believe it was last week. I was like, I think we're going to see exactly how long it took for me to go from, like, shut up and take all my money so I can play this to, it better be on good sale before I'd pick it up. Now, if Jordan or Pedro wants it, we just pick it up. But for me personally, right now, especially in beta, there's like 25% off. And I'm like, how much did you get that game for with all the Humble Bundle games?
Oh yeah, I bought the entire bundle that it was included for $15,
right?
Which was actually what it was on sale.
So, but we were talking before the show. I think like the real kicker is once it goes like half off or something like that, I'll definitely pick it up, or I might just lose my wheel power and all that fun stuff and buy it anyway. We'll see.
Wheel power, I get it.
Shut. But I didn't get a bunch of invites. I was expecting on launch date, especially that night, especially during the day, because we have people in all different time zones. Nobody hit me with it. So I was like, maybe what Maddie said was kind of right, Pedro. Maybe the hype has just died down maybe a notch.
A little bit. There's certainly the original excitement when we got the announcement of, oh, hey, Rocket League is coming to Linux. That was awesome, and it certainly died down. But fact of the matter is, whenever you go in-game, on Steam alone, there's like 40,000 concurrent players. Mm-hmm. If you add the Xbox and the PS4 versions, which you can actually cross-play between all systems, including Linux, you get like 200,000 people online at any point in time. Yeah, there's really no lack of players.
That's a lot of 12-year-olds. But let's talk about a brand new invention from the people who brought you Ark Survival Evolved. They now have early access DLC because instead of finishing the game that's currently in early access, they spent time to develop the DLC. Right. People had problems with this, and I think just possibly, maybe, it hurt their reviews a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, you like that dip in the chart?
What? No, man.
I mean, look at that red bar.
That's totally not a bad thing, you guys. Red is good, right?
Here's what I think, man. I mean, I'm not hitting on this because this is the popular thing to just slam. this would go for anything because it's like, all right, DLC. Wouldn't technically you have to get the DLC greenlit before you could put it with your early access game?
No.
No?
Not the way Steam does it. You can have your game in early access, but if you're just releasing DLC for that game, or you have an approved publisher, then you don't need to go through greenlight again.
So here's what I'm saying, Jordan. We release Brick Simulator in early access as a Game of the Year edition, initially.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah?
Yeah. Here's the stupidest thing about this is I wonder, based on like DLC and considering that Arc is an unstable platform as it is quote unquote in development, when is the update going to get pushed out that's going to break all the DLC and it's going to cause people a bunch of fucking headaches?
Well, I don't know. Shortly after the developers quit calling their customers idiots, right?
Listen, man. You gotta respect the fact that once that early access well runs dry, you gotta figure out some new ways to milk the cow.
And there's a little extra factor to take into account because there was, you may remember a while back, one of the developers in Ark Survival Evolved was found to be breaching a do not compete contract with the developers of that tower defense dungeon something.
Right.
Yeah. It's on Linux, but it hasn't been updated in years. There was also a big snafu about that. But
Dungeon Defenders, I think that's
Dungeon Defenders. Yes, it was. But yeah, he breached a do not compete contract with those guys, and basically the guys behind Ark Survival Evolved just decided to settle the lawsuit for $40 million. That's a hell of a lot of zeros.
So that explains the DLC right then and there, right?
Well, I mean, that's the cynical way of looking at it. Is like, hey, you know all those features we were about to launch into the early access thing? Yeah, about that.
We're going to have to charge you like $20 for it?
Yeah, seems legit.
But yeah, I'm still of the opinion that if you're releasing DLC, you don't get to pull the early access card anymore. Your game's done. It's finished. You want to release updates for it? Go right ahead.
I'm of the opinion that as long as your DLC is unfinished, you can sell it for your unfinished game.
Listen, it doesn't. I mean, I would say vote with your wallet, but both the DLC and Ark are still on the top sellers. So,
the DLC is number 1 and Ark is number 3 in the top sellers. So. No one cares.
Well, they voted with their wallet, and they voted yes.
Yes.
But speaking of.
The guys at Black Forest Games have proven that they know how to Linux. Now, if you don't know who Black Forest is, give me a sec. This is Rogue Stormers. It was a game that was released a while back, and now it has a Linux version. They put a big flashy banner saying Linux port and a couple of other things with the new update. But if you check out who the fine folks at Black Forest Games are, they are the developers of Giana Sisters. Yes. So now I ask, where is the Giana Sisters port?
Listen, no one cares about Giana Sisters. I mean, it's a game that's in the past, right? No one wants old games on Linux.
I
have to have another game to use as a whipping boy now that Rocket League is out.
Like the one game, because technically we had what was it, Limbo or something?
Vessel.
Yeah, Limbo.
Yeah, Limbo.
And Vessel too. Yeah, but Flippity.
You done? All right. Yeah. So, Limbo came out with a wine port initially. Port. Vessel just eventually got the native version. So, I mean, we have a complete set of, the Humble Bundles all being cross-platform except for that. And I don't know, are they playing the Carmageddon card of, like, people will forget if we just ignore it long enough?
Yeah, if we don't mention it anymore, maybe people will forget about it. But I have to have another game to use as a whipping boy now that Rocket League is basically out.
You can still shit on Overgrowth. It's fine. No one cares.
Well, Overgrowth, even in its alpha state, does support Linux. Giana Sisters doesn't.
Yeah, even their alpha state. If you follow Pedro on the Twitters, you noticed earlier this week he was trying to pick a fight with the Distance developers, and they just weren't having it.
They're nice people. Damn it.
They're nice people, and I have to make their lives miserable because my life's miserable, and everyone has to be.
No, I just sent them the one tweet because they were promoting that game that looks like Wipeout, which isn't available on Linux. And I said, oh, it's a good thing it's not available on Linux. Otherwise, you'd have some competition and a reason to get out of early access already. And they were like,
also,
we're making progress. Come on.
Also, Pedro, it's pronounced Wipeout. It's Minecraft for horrible people. Yeah, Besiege has a new update coming out. This is version 0.35. They've added 4 campaigns to the Isle of Tolbrins, and they have a new set of levels that are coming down the pipe. They've also they're also doing a lot of hot fixes because there's some issues. So it's good that they're keeping things up to date. But I mean, the early access train keeps marching on, and I really wish they would just slap a 1.0 on it, because you can totally release a game on Steam, have it be out of early access, and still continually update it. It's the Minecraft model. They slapped a 1.0 on it eventually, and they keep adding new shit all the time.
Hey, man, if it keeps making money, I mean, when I saw this update, every time they do an update, I was like, where are we going to go with this? But, you know, they're like, yeah, man, we finished those last 4 campaign levels. Like, and we're going to start working on a new island and more additional content. And I was like, whatever.
It's very hard to get out of your safe space. And for Steam developers, that safe space is called early access because it basically invalidates all the, in their minds anyway, it invalidates all the criticism that anyone can lever at them.
Yeah, and it's also very difficult to cut off that money spigot of that non-judgment money spigot. Because
yes.
Once you have to go from that to like a leaded to where the reviews really count. And you're like, I mean, it's a great game. Besiege is definitely one of those games that should have released a year ago when it had all the hype, and it would probably be massive and still played today by tens of adoring fans.
I mean, they just need to start releasing DLC for it. It's the obvious solution, right? But you know, speaking of which, there's this game that I had never heard of before. This is called Armello, and they have a version available on Steam, and they have a version available on GOG. And the GOG consumers are a little upset because the DLC is currently available on Steam, but there is no plans to make it available on GOG, because apparently having an installer drop files into a directory requires a massive overhaul of their build infrastructure, which is just entirely infeasible. And oh no, I'm just fucking with you. They totally just don't want people to pirate their DLC and put it up on.
But they're going to feed you that bullshit anyway. And one of the comments on the GOG forums was like, "Oh, so you can't do it yet? Somehow the pirates that upload the pirated version have already figured out how to distribute your game DRM free with the DLC."
I mean, they figured that kind of stuff out back in, you know, the late 90s, what with expansion packs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? You think this is a lost arcane art.
Definitely them walking out. And, I mean, they kind of said it. They're like, hey, well, they said it in fewer words. They're like, we don't want to continue development on the DRM-free version. You got the copy you paid for. It's a full game. The DLC, if you don't like that, you can get a refund. Not a big issue. And to address the thing of, well, what about Steam keys? They're like, here's how this is going to work. And it was kind of a brilliant way of doing it to prevent the flood of people with their special versions asking for keys. They said, if you want a Steam key, just refund it through GOG, take that money, put it in this thing called Steam, and it will give you a key. It's just like magic.
Magic. But but you know, again, installers are a sort of black magic that these guys have yet to crack.
Yeah, they do. Like the entire diatribe that the dev or the PR person that dropped Trent Custers. Sorry, my bad. He, out of the entire post, there was one good point, which is if people are paying for a game on GOG is because they want it DRM free. So anyone who's saying, oh, you should give those unhappy GOG users a Steam key. No, you shouldn't, because if they bought it on GOG, it's because they don't want to deal with Steam. And at that point, if you just give them a Steam key and say, yeah, here you go here, you can get the DLC there. That's like slapping them across the face.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's no clean way out of this. I mean, I would have just walked out and just been like, hey, if you buy all your games on GOG, You're used to this by now. Really, why are you picking on us?
I don't know. It just seems like a really silly, dumb non-issue that these guys are blowing up because they don't want to support multiple distribution platforms. But coming up next, we got some brand new Nvidia drivers for once, and maybe Nvidia will keep the low-end PC market for another however long it takes for AMD to pull their dicks out of their ass and come up with a decent product or drivers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, strap on, because before we get to the news, we have some very, very special people to thank.
Well, special person, but we got to thank all the Patreons who make this wonderful train wreck possible every week, paying for the show week for week, value for value. It's good stuff. You can, if you want to support this nightmare fuel, you can head over to patreon.com/LinuxGameCast. We got some lovely donation levels. We're very, very close at 175. We have regular streams, and if we make it to 200, well, you might be able to join in with my torments, because we have a bit of a giveaway this week, don't we?
Well, serious thing. We had that 200 what stinky cash thing. Jordan really hates that game, so we're going to force him to very much like we do in Left 4 Bread. We got a new one of those out this week. Go check it out, Patreons. And hey, we don't put things behind a paywall if you're not a Patreon. That means there's also a new Left 4 Bread out for you as well. LGC cares. But we're going to make him play Serious Sam 3 all the way through. We're going to rotate people in and out, and it could be you. But since we have the Serious Swing, we should call it Serious Swag. It'd be kind of great for this away gift.
Swiggity swag.
Swiggity swoogity. But I found out that I have an extra copy of Serious Sam 3 BFE laying around with some Steam keys. And I was like, you know what? We should give the Patreon something, shouldn't we, man? Right? Yeah?
No, sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So, with a little Patreon away gift, we have a very simple thing. You leave a comment under this video when it's posted tomorrow afternoon. This time, because we always like to have a little something to confuse the absolute shit out of people who don't watch this show. And they just look at comments, and when they visit our page going, what's going on? This time, just list your favorite type of soup. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. Just confusion.
Gazpacho's the wrong answer.
That's not soup, you heathen. But next week, we will randomly pick that up with a random number generator, and you'll get the key and an extra thank you. So, if you're a Patreon, you're going to get something back.
We do have one thank you to give out this week, though. Nemo upped his donation, so good on you. Our good buddy Nemo, Dekresny in Chat Realm.
Wait, yeah, he's going to I got some of that show note goodness, so.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Good time.
You get to see the sausage before it gets made, so $250 a show will get you that.
All right.
Yep.
All right. But yeah,
so
we got some drivers.
And yes, as usual, we start off with some drivers. Jordan, take us away.
Yeah, this is the 370.28 driver. This is essentially a consolidation of a couple drivers that were released in the 369 branch. But there are a couple of new fixes as well. Apparently, that Vulkan Quake port that we covered a few weeks ago uncovered a few bugs in the Nvidia Vulkan implementation. So they fixed a bit of that. They added support for HDMI 2.0. Control for TVs. They have early version of the tearing-free Prime support, but you do need to compile your own version of X because it's using a newer version of the ABI than what ships with most distributions these days. And they work, I installed them, no real issues.
That's all I can report over here. Yes, it was like NVIDIA update. I was like, all right, I'm good. Update NVIDIA 370. I was like, boom, installed. Restarted. It didn't say a single disparaging remark about my mother, Pedro.
Yeah, over here, me neither. I was actually using the 370.23 beta that they released a couple of weeks ago. It was working fine, and since the Talos principle no longer segfaults when you run the benchmark, I was actually able to run that benchmark all the way through. Almost got to 200 average FERPs on the 1080. Pretty awesome.
Brilliant.
Hey,
that's pretty good.
Speaking of the Pascal series, yes. Speaking of the Pascal series, WCCF Tech, those guys that like to put all the rumors in your face all the time, given half a chance. They apparently got wind of the GeForce GTX 1050, which is going to use a slightly different version of the GP106, which is apparently just dubbed the GP107. So it's basically the exact same architecture as you can find in the 1060, with I think the really big thing here, or the really small thing as the case may be, is that the prospect MSRP is $150, and the reported TDP is 75 watts. 75 watts TDP means it could be easily PCIe or PCI Express, whatever you want to say it. It could just work off of the PCIe port without any extra power connectors. That's kind of amazing.
I mean, which is fantastic. That's what they should be aiming for, because one of the fantastic things about the 750 and the 750 Ti was that you could literally just plug it into your computer and away you go. You have a relatively powerful game-ready PC. And that's really it. So the 950 was a bit of a flop because we need an extra 6-pin power connector, and it's huge, and it's a little more powerful than the 750, but not by much. This is gonna. What did you say, Pedro? This is close to a PCI. This theoretically is close to a PCI powered 970. That's going to be pretty fucking good, especially for entry level PC gaming.
Yeah, if you are to take the GPU clocks and the memory clocks and everything, and the way that Nvidia has been releasing Pascal, it's like the 1070 was kind of like the old Titan X, and the 1060 was kind of like the 980. Then this is probably going to be a $150 970 with better Vulkan
Don't you feel dumb, Pedro?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
But then again, I bought my
$150. I mean, but then again, we were talking about this a bit earlier. What is this really going to cost, and what you're really thinking about? This is going to cost whatever NVIDIA needs it to cost. That's exactly what this is going to hit the streets at, because this is the final thing of like, yeah, we got our complete lineup covered. Because let's face it, the 480 definitely caught NVIDIA's like, whoa, didn't expect that thing to be that cheap.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a thing. So, I mean, this is like a lower price 480 with working drivers. So that's pretty good piece of kit. Looking forward to it. It'll be great for your Steam machines and whatnot. But
yes. Yeah, Humble bundles. Periodically, Humble will do something weird and release a bundle with a bunch of game development tools. One time they had Unity. I think one time they actually had Leadworks, and this time it's GameMaker Studios' turn. So they got the Humble GameMaker bundle. You can pay what you want. Really, if you want the full package, it's going to be at least $15. But it gets you GameMaker Studio, a bunch of games with a few of them that actually come with source code, and just a way to get started making some games. Now, you might say GameMaker Studio is a tool for, little babies, but you can make some good games with it. I mean, Hyper Light Drifter was a GameMaker Studio game. But, also Unity Personal Edition and Unreal 4 exist.
Wait, Hyper Light Drifter, how much is the 60 frames per second expansion pack?
I don't know. How much is the Ubuntu export expansion pack?
That'd be about $99, Brad.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's good that Humble does these random bundles, be it with books, although they've made the book bundle sort of a regular thing nowadays. But like just software
I'm thinking,
and
like learning tool, man. And
and one of the things
for how to make games. It's not bad.
Like the biggest missing thing from the lineup, even at the $15 level, you only get like the HTML5 module, the Android module, the iOS module, and the Universal Windows Platform module.
So you can make
you can start
Xbox.
Pushing out shovelware on day 2 with that.
Yeah, but why aren't they offering the desktop Mac OS X or macOS as they call them now, or the Linux modules? That would be nice. You shouldn't call it the
Linux module. You should call it the Ubuntu export module.
Yeah, and also they need to charge people $99 for it, obviously.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah, apparently they really want people to drop like 100 quid on
those
Steam.
Linux users don't pay for their software, so they have money coming out the wazoo.
Right.
They can afford it.
That is true. Yes.
Moving on.
Yes, this is Alive. This is from Paul Zapps, and he is making a engine re-implementation of the original Oddworld games, the first two. So if you don't feel like shelling out the money for the enhanced editions and you have your old CD copies, you might be able to get them up and running with this. Apparently Linux and OS X are building according to their README status. So that is definitely a thing. I don't actually have a copy of Oddworld, so I couldn't check this out. And I don't feel like going to the local video store and quote unquote renting a copy. Did any of you try building this?
I got as far as like CMake, and I was like, you know what? I got things to do. But they are using SDL2, which I think is a bit of neat sauce, Pedro.
It's certainly an improvement over the remaster, remake, whatever they call it.
Man, I missed that joke. Swung at air, and I was like, man, don't you wish the original remake Linux did?
I mean, these days, all these engine re-implementation projects are using STL because they've realized that it just removes all the work. It really does.
It's that bit of middleware that you don't have to give any credit to. Literally, it uses the zlib license. Just fucking use it.
Yeah. So that's definitely a thing. If you're an Oddworld fan, check it out. But engine re-implementations.
Yes. Since we're on engine re-implementations, this is OpenMW, not 0.40.0. It's another consolidation update.
I don't even know what it is, Pedro, but they've implemented the NPC face function, and I just want some of it.
Yeah, it's like the new implementation stuff is the NPC face function, the weather-dependent sun-moon reflections and effect removal abilities like Dispel Magics and whatnot. They also fixed a bug that locked the player movement whenever they were exiting, like portable house mods. Whatever that means, I have no idea. And the rest of it is just fixes. They fixed a bunch of things in the re-implementation and the original game itself. They fixed and implemented a couple of new stuff to the OpenMWCS, which is like the tool that you can use to build modules specifically for OpenMW. But the biggest glaring omissions at this point are shadows. There are no shadows currently in OpenMW. And Distant Land, still AWOL. Can't see it.
I mean, they're creeping closer to becoming more and more feature complete. And I, for one, can't wait to throw some chairs at it once it hits a 1.0, because this is going to be a really cool project to review.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll definitely be interesting. And once I get done with that, I will need everyone to immediately get on Open Skyrim. So I will effectively get nothing done testing that day in and day out.
Absolutely. But you know, we're on a bit of a tear with remakes. This isn't an engine implementation. This is a straight up remake. This is called he's working on a version of the original Tomb Raider done entirely in Unreal 4. The nice thing is Crystal Dynamics has given their blessings. As long as this guy doesn't intend to profit from it, he can go and continue. Where's the polygonal boobs, man? It's just not the
no
same.
pyramids on those.
I can't beat my meat unless I see some chest triangles.
It's kind of creepy seeing the like whacked out proportions of the original Miss Croft try to.
In full 3D, in full glistening 3D. Yes.
But hey, man, hopefully it'll perform a little bit better than the feral version of Tomb Raider. This is entirely a fan game. I'm pretty sure it's just the one guy at the moment.
They eventually got back and made it run pretty good. But one of the things the guy's on about, he's like, I'm not planning on releasing this, or this is just my personal project, and people really need to stop bugging me. And I'm like, why the fuck do you keep on releasing screenshots, Brad, if you don't want people to bug you?
But yeah, that was the year of the engine re-implementation, or something.
This isn't an engine re-implementation. This is a straight up remake.
Yeah,
it's a straight up remake, as the case may be, but it fits.
He's doing it in Unreal Engine 4, which makes it pretty much easy sauce to get over to the Linux. And I don't know if everyone saw it earlier this week. Somebody has recreated an entire Star Wars level in Unreal Engine 4, like the Enterprise and everything in it. So it's pretty cool.
Really? Does it have a version of the Doctor you can talk to?
It's got the Doctor and Quark with Chewie for the yeah.
Nice.
No,
But
let me know when they bring in Dargo.
Okay.
Like I said before, it's nice that the Crystal Dynamics has given this guy some license to do his passion project, unlike a few companies that just engaged in pure bullshit. Nintendo.
So it's finally happened, ladies and gentlemen, booting the final GameCube game. Yes, that's right. One other person, aside from yourself, bought a GameCube and remembers it. It was a Star Wars game, speaking of, the Clone Wars, finally up and booting. Notice they don't say, running all that great, but it launches. That's kind of the standards we have for this show. It's like, we showed up. It was pretty good, man. This 5.0, brilliant rundown. What about the memory management, Jordan? It's crazy.
Okay, so this is I love reading these Dolphin teardowns because it's always like, we ran into this fucked up problem with Nintendo's bullshit, and this is how we fixed it. So one of the issues was they could not get the Clone Wars to start because this game uses hard-coded memory addressing as opposed to just having the CPU or the BIOS or some kind of kernel dynamically allocate memory. No, they went and fucking did this by hand on their own. So they needed to implement a translation layer to facilitate this game actually starting, which is kind of insane. But now, with that all said and done, you can boot all of the Wii games. Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't remember that part of Star Wars where that guy's leg just started sprouting out of his thigh?
But yeah, that's the thing. The games all start. And they actually hit that milestone with all the Wii games a long time ago. But yeah, now all of the GameCube games start. You can't really play them all to completion yet. And some of them just will literally only start. You can't really get any further than that.
Oh yeah, let's disparage the people who are trying to reverse engineer.
Oh no! I am not disparaging their work in the least. I mean, they are basically translating a physical memory management unit into software just to make the games boot. That's insane.
All right. Well, we were talking about games getting a pass. Well, this one got the pass if passes are made out of axes and spite from Nintendo. Fuck you. AM2R Strider knows this. Oh my god, I can't put it down. I couldn't earlier this week. I almost clocked in 3 hours. It was the Metroid clone Nintendo never wanted, but everyone wanted to play. The final definitive version 1.1 is out, and that's it. You'll have to find it at your local video store. Nintendo basically contacted Dr. M64, and they're like, hey, we're Nintendo. They just go, knock, knock, Nintendo. He's like, shit, I know, don't worry about it. They didn't have to do the, which they did, cease and desist, DMC and all that fun stuff. He's like, yeah. As soon as you hear Nintendo, he's like, all right, got it. We know how Nintendo operates, jackasses.
Listen, they're just jealous they can't make a good Metroid game recently.
Oh, hey, man, it's not like we've had any swimming Sonic games either. So.
Oh, God. Uh-oh. Hold on. I need to grab my chili dog for a minute.
Okay. But
gotta go fast.
It is out. There is a Linux version of this. I managed to yoink a copy if anyone needs a...
Or you can head on over to Lutris. Strider is screaming Lutris, at the top of his lungs.
He has done crazier things than that. It's pretty good. We might actually throw some chairs at it because I was kind of worried about doing something that is just like a one-man amateur project. I was like, this is a legit Metroid game, and it is basically Metroid 2 on steroids. And
the Game Boy version, not the
it's Metroid 2 with color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. So check that out. But we got a fire sale before we get out of here.
Yes, we do. So speaking of old games, you may remember a little publisher, teeny tiny publisher from back in the day called Interplay. Yes, the people who published the two original Fallout games, Earthworm Jim, MDK, MDK2, Messiah, for those of you that really, really got into it.
I love this name. Vedbush Securities. Yeah.
Yes. So they're basically going out of business. You remember Interplay being in the news a couple of years ago when Bethesda sued their asses off because Interplay had sold the rights to a single-player Fallout game to Bethesda, which they made Fallout 3 with. That's all fine and dandy. And then Interplay decided to make a Fallout MMO. Project V13, it was called at the time. And then Bethesda didn't like the idea, and so they sued their asses, and the whole process took well over 3 years to conclude. And now Interplay is basically languishing in obscurity and selling off whatever other IPs they still have.
Strider brought up, did they have the IP for Kingpin? Because Kingpin had a native Linux version at one point.
I don't know if they had Kingpin. I don't remember seeing that on the list. But yeah, it was like they sold. Eventually, they just settled with Bethesda, and they sold off the rest of the Fallout IP rights. So Bethesda now has all of that. But they still have a few, namely the MDK and Messiah licenses, which I looked at the list and I immediately went to Twitter and was like, Aspire, MDK, Messiah, get on it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the Interplay licenses I gave a shit about were the D&D licenses, and they've already moved to other companies, so I greet this with a big old resounding meh.
Yeah,
they did the scent.
The only thing I took away from that, was MDK, and I was like, I've always wanted to play MDK. That'd be fun. So, when we're in the home and still doing this show, because it's Saturday night, what else are we going to do outside of drink and do this? We might be able to play one or two of those games, right?
And then in the far distant future, after the engine re-implementation is done, it's on track for after Open Skyrim finishes.
Super sweet.
All right, coming up next, we freeze our balls and our asses off. And for what? For you guys, because we love you. Yes, you heard it right here. I am the true killer of John Lennon, but that's not important right now. What is important is that we're throwing chairs with Frozen State from Flock Studios, developed on the Unity 5 engine that you can pick up for about 12 of your local currency, depending on where you live. And what is it? Frozen State is a brutal survival game set in a world embraced by man-made ice age, meant to protect mankind from pestilent hybrids. Bitter cold and numbing fear are the constant companions in the journey through the retrofuturistic Frozen State world. That sounds like a mouthful, but you know what it isn't? The Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's pretty good, or that's kind of meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's awesome. We also got our categories of doom, mixed with the working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Did Frozen State freeze your box, Ven? Did it leave it in a frozen state?
Was properly and adequately chilled in all the possible ways. Over here on the Ubuntu 1404 LTS, 980 powered with a 4K UHD display box of business. It ran. It launched. We'll give it that. Good job. But it doesn't have, it's got a small problem. It doesn't stay running. You see, when you die, so does the game. Interesting game mechanic, that, but we'll get into that a bit more in depth just a bit later. But outside of that, it has managed to start twice with the E key, which is basically everything for this damn game key not working. That was always fun. But, if you stayed alive long enough to die, you could just restart it yourself. No big issue there. Technically, it runs, so technically it gets 2 chairs.
Yeah, I've gotten stuck in the furniture and between furniture and in walls a few times.
Are we talking about
I've only had 1 crash upon death. So it's not a repeatable thing, and I've died a lot in that game. So I'll give it 3 chairs. There are definitely some issues. On Fedora 24 64-bit, the i7 6700K, and the Nvidia GTX 980.
Yeah, and over here on the GTX 1080 with the FX 8370E overclocked at 4.2 gigahertz and running Ubuntu Mate 1604. I died 3 times while exploring a building, and the game crashed the first time. Now, every time I die, the game just outright nopes into the desktop. The FERPs managed to hold a steady 60, which for a Unity game is impressive, until you start to notice the dirty hack the game pulls to achieve that. So for me, it gets 2 chairs.
All right, that's 2 whole chairs for mix with the working. Up next is shiny and sounds. Then does it have cool sounds and cool graphics?
It doesn't have a whole lot of cool anything aside from the snow that apparently is everywhere in Mother Russia. But it doesn't look horrible. It looks very amateur hour period. But what really adds to the jankiness of it, Leroy jankiness levels, is the animation and character movement of one of the 3 characters that you pick. It's just ass, which I've never played. These type of, you think like PlayStation 2, what was the zombie killing game?
Got to be more specific than that.
That one.
Yeah.
Loved it. And that's just how they move. They're slow, they're sluggish. They do some weird judo kicks and stabs when you try to attack, and it's all at the speed of smell. It's just meh. The details, the environments, the cars look nice. I'll give them that. Some of the weird cars. The buildings, I don't know. I think maybe they might be procedurally generated. Again, don't really know. This game liked to crash a lot, and I was like, yeah, all right, gonna take a break from it. It has sounds, question marks. I honestly don't recall. It's that forgettable. It's kind of like if someone took this War of Mine and kind of flipped it with a top-down view and fired all the graphic artists. How about that? You can see stuff, and I do believe it, in fact, makes noises. So I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a late era PS1 game, maybe early PS2 in terms of graphical fidelity. Like Vin said, I think the buildings are fairly procedurally generated because some of those layouts just make no sense whatsoever. Rooms within rooms within rooms. Looks like someone kind of was on crack and playing with the D&D dungeon generator tables. And as for the sounds, they're there. They exist. You can hear them. The game tries to do this sort of like listening, approaching mechanic where the enemies get louder as they get closer. But I couldn't tell because it all sounded the exact same. And also the enemy line of sights are really, really crappy. So you see them before you hear them. Yeah, that's really it. It's fairly lackluster in both the shiny and sounds department. So it gets a lackluster score of 2 chairs.
Yeah, the game obscures everything you're not looking at, which in a technical sense explains how a relatively open area in Unity isn't tagging the FERPs. But it also makes everything stupidly dark. If you're looking at the produced version right now, the video you're looking at, yeah, that's pretty dark. I guess that's also to hide the fact that the monsters have like 2 or 3 different animations a pop, including the walk cycle. I get it. It's the old, the monster remains all the scarier the less you see of it mantra. How did that work for Cloverfield again? Yeah, not very well. The guns sound piss weak, like to the point where you opening and closing a door sounds louder than a brick in a revolver. I can't give it 1 chair because it technically works, but it has absolutely nothing to... It has done absolutely nothing to earn a higher score. 2 chairs, sorry.
Oh, well, Pedro's figuring out how to count. This gets 2 chairs for shiny and sounds. Up next is controls, Ben.
I don't know, man. Controls work. They worked out of the box. The only thing I tried it was, just your keyboard and gerbil. Standard fare, which I really should have brought up in the animation, is, this guy just kind of moonwalks and glides and whatever over the map because you can be pointing this way. I think Pedro said it was like the Brigador game we played. You're pointing this way, but you're going this way. And it's just laughably bad. It does control, though. I mean, you can spin in circles and put your little green reticle over things on the floor and hit E and pick them up and then die because you're just going to be doing that a lot. It works technically. I have no idea how you survive in this game if you have to face more than one dead what the hell ever they're supposed to be. They just look like they took a grab bag.
They have a scorpion tail.
Just like baddies. And they're like, here, fuck them up a little bit. Stick them in the game. Because that's really what you're facing. But like combat, just fucking forget it, man. Just run. It's point and click adventure game effectively with a top-down 3D view. Nothing to write home about. Nothing's broken again. This is kind of what this game is. This is like, technically it's a game. The game. So 2 chairs.
Yeah, I mean, this thing controls like a butt, let's be honest. Pedro is spot on with the Brigador comparison. He's going to get into that a little bit later. But it does the stupid thing where your character moves with the mouse and you have to move the camera separately, and your character's walking like dimension has its own axis of movement. Now they have a couple ways of dealing with this. You can hit down the X button and it will cause the camera to follow the cursor, which is a terrible idea. Don't do it. It's bad. It's terrible. I thought maybe it would fix some of the control issues. No, it just makes it so much worse. And I mean, like, walking in this is really, really awkward, especially when you're trying to navigate, like, these really labyrinthine, procedurally generated buildings, trying to duck out of the way of these spitters who can, like, spit stuff at you, or people who just randomly start shooting you because you get on their property. I thought this was Russia, not Arkansas.
Texas.
Whatever. The crafting UI needs some work, just because, like, it'll highlight stuff that you have the materials to make, but I would really like a search feature, because scrolling through all the various little menus can be a bit tedious, especially when you're looking for that one fucking thing you need to build. And yeah, no, combat in this is just fucking terrible. I finally clued into you hit them and then you run the fuck away, and then you run back and you hit them and you run the fuck away, and you do this 3 or 4 times, and hopefully they die. But yeah, this they function 2 chairs.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as Brigador, even though it does the exact same stupid thing of moving forward from the perspective of the camera and not where your reticle is aiming at. Where it is better is the fact that it lets you reorient the camera, which you couldn't do in Brigador. And, well, if you really hate the right click on your mouse, you can just tape it down and the camera will sort of follow around. Not as janky as if you hold X to actually toggle the aiming thing, but you can actually sway the camera around, give or take, and your character will move in the direction that your reticle is pointing at. That said, it's still an annoying-ass control scheme, and it doesn't end there. Would you like to change directions while you're moving? Aha. Fuck you. That's what the game says, because the moment you try, your character pauses the movement for a full second and turns to face the new direction you told it to move in. Then, if you have the goal to just try and switch weapons in the middle of combat, your character will once again stop everything he or she is doing to ensure that you get your face bitten off by one of the post-apocalyptic monstrosities du jour. So for me, it gets 2 chairs.
All right, that's 2 chairs for controls. Let's wrap this up. Would you say that Frozen State is a cool game, Ben? Did you have fun?
Did you just ask me why our fun section has a question mark on the end of it? Allow me to elaborate. We took this and I opened it. You know, I like to go into just going blind sometimes. It's like, okay, let's load this. Loading screen. Started up and I was like, this is another survival game. Joy of fuck mothering joys. We were very happy about that. The intro, which I'm guessing at some point they were going to have voice acted or read or something, is just this wall of text broken into paragraphs with one animated truck type thing driving. And I got all the way to the part of brilliant writing describing the baddies as part human, part evil. I quit reading that boring ass intro right the fuck there, Brad. I did. Trying to get into the game. Right when I'm launching it, you get into inventory menu. Let's just be hella polite and call it layered, because it's like, maybe it's a Unix system. I know this. Some shit like that, right? What the fuck's going on? It definitely reeks of something. It started out kind of simple and had shit tacked on. The fucking submenus have right-click submenus in them. It was like, yeah, this has been explained to me at fucking what point? The game's like, fuck you, Brad. It's like, okay, I'm just going to arm a flashlight and a knife and we'll see what fucking happens. Again, combat is absolute shit. There's no point. I just run. Fuck you. Right in the ears if you run into a ladder. Pedro will probably explain that a bit more. But for me, what this game was, now normally I try to put a minimum of a full Arn into these games. Usually 2, more often than not 3 or 4 at minimum. This, between the spite crashes, it's not bad enough I died because this game has shit controls and I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. But then it crashes on top of that, and I'm like, yeah, good. I don't have to play it anymore. And then you have to go back, and I only managed about 45 minutes of those cycles over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, this is just a walkabout simulator where you just build a fire and you die. And it's all done on a budget. But I'm not done yet. There's just a little bit more. It's such a bad sign. When it dies and your first thought is, good, I don't want to play this game. And it's going to do that almost for everyone more times than enough to be within that 2-hour refund window. So I think it's a safe bet to say pick this up and give it a try because you won't miss it. Fuck this game. 1 share.
Yeah, I managed to survive 1 whole day. So these sorts of survival games don't really appeal to me. I like shooters, I like RPGs, I like dynamic action or interesting stories or something to experience or like interesting gameplay. This game doesn't really have that. And I mean, compounded with just poor controls and dying all the time because the game is literally stacked against you, this doesn't really do much to improve my opinion on the genre. I mean, like, yeah, there's crafting. That's the thing. The survival thing is okay. You have to find your food. I don't know why you need to find water considering you're surrounded by snow, which is, water. I don't know why that's even
It's
an issue.
albino yellow snow.
I know, right? Yeah. And as for the direction, they're like, oh yeah, no, if you go to this computer terminal, which you can totally skip, by the way. I went into the game without realizing that there was a mission you needed to go on to, and only through derping around through the tutorial area I was able to find that. Oh, by the way, that tutorial area is a gigantic waste of time because every time you die, and you will die a lot, you have to restart the game and ransack that entire fucking place. They can't just start you off. Here's some generic equipment you can use. Go have fun. No, you have to go through all the puzzles in the UI. Oh, speaking of puzzles, how do you like opening doors in this game where you have to click E on the door and then slide the latch so that you can unlock it? And that's the basic door because you can have like passcode lock doors that you can pick, or if you are lucky enough, they'll just leave a big fucking fuck you sign that says, this is the combination, you guys, don't enter it at all costs. And yeah, I mean, the exploration element's kind of weird. It has like this, I want to compare it to Death Road to Canada because you have the overworld exploration screen. And then when you go to areas, you drill in and you get like this little Death Road to Canada style mini map that you can explore and go through the procedurally generated stuff. It doesn't really do much because there's usually 1 or 2 points of interest or some labyrinthine building with horrible monsters at the end that eat you, or some guy with a gun who just decides he lives in Texas and not Russia, as been corrected me earlier. But, unlike Death Road to Canada, at least I don't die for no reason. I die because I freeze to death. Yeah, no, 1 share.
Yeah, you can totally tell that the buildings were procedurally generated because at one point, you can actually see this in the produced version. I went up some stairs, and then when I tried to go back down said stairs, I couldn't because there was an invisible wall on them, so I had to jump down to the lower level, costing me some health. Good design. But to come in defense of the UI, this UI is impressive considering the rest of the game. You have 4 different tabs on the left side and 4 different tabs on the right side. You can have any combination of tabs open, assuming it's 1 from each side. Besides that, you can also right-click on just about everything everywhere. But it all looks like someone drew those rounded corner rectangles in MS Paint and then used a bucket with whatever shade of CRT green they found and filled in the blanks. The amount of work that went into the UI functionality is impressive. I think I might actually start using this particular UI to compare other games to. That said, I can't really do that with anything else in the game. Your journal says that you need to find parts to fix the quote-unquote war rig that the introductory plot dump shows up under. The little cutscene. So you go around doing the usual survival bullshit with a janky camera, a character that moves like he or she has Parkinson's disease, and a stupid fucking annoying combat system. Oh yeah, the combat in this game sucks big fat titties, because the moment you run out of bullets, you might as well throw yourself at the nearest hostile thing you find. Instead of taking
you got bullets.
Yes, if you got bullets. But let's just say you're using the axe. If you want to take a quick but effective swing of an axe, your character says, no, I don't feel like you're appreciating me enough. And so he has to do a little twirly ballet move before the swing proper. And the only thing that does is guarantee you're going to get munched on or during each swing animation. This is, again, very bad design. And the guns themselves, they sound and feel like you're blowing spitballs out of a hollowed out ballpoint pen. And for a game which is very obviously and desperately hard trying to build up an atmosphere, it fails miserably. 30 minutes of dealing with my character being too cold or too hungry or too thirsty is all about I could muster in one go. So no, it's not fun. It's desperately trying to introduce the survival elements du jour to a formula which was quote-unquote popular back in 2006 or 2007. You can see Stalkers and Shadowgrounds and even Fallout's inspirations everywhere you look in this game. Unfortunately, it fails in just about every aspect that made those games fun. One chair.
All right. That was one chair for fun, and we tally all that up, and we get one whole chair for Frozen States. So, final thoughts, gentlemen? Mentalgen?
Pretty easy. What was this thing clocking at 13.99 what stinky cashes?
No, $11.99.
$11.99. You know, it could be $1.99, and I would still tell you to keep the fuck away from
it. Yeah, no, this game is bad. Don't play it. If you want to experience like survival in a cold area, maybe take a camping trip in Canada. Because it ultimately costs less and is more fulfilling than the hour I spent playing this game.
Hey Pedro, what about what's that survival Skyrim wannabe games? A fuckload better than
Savage Lands?
Oh, yeah. Savage Lands, yeah. Yeah, no, that's a much better game. Get that instead. Yeah.
All right. You heard that here. Get Savage Lands, don't play Frozen State. Coming up next, someone actually reads the shit on our contact page. Find out what they did.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, yeah, you can see it coming. It's the hate mail. Yes, my personal favorite time of the show. And apparently, I have been doing an all right job at, saying that every time a developer contacts us, you should totally read what Ven has put in big bold letters at the top there saying, send us keys. 3 of them. There's like usually 3 of us here, so if you don't, we'll just make fun of you. But hey, if you don't have a game or project that you'd like to promote and you just want to get in touch with us, you can just fill out the form. Just pick whether you want to send some hate mail for Linux Gamecast Weekly or some feedback for LWDW or Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. We should totally change the name of that. Come on.
No, never.
But you can also leave us some hate mail if you see this video posted on YouTube or on Patreon or wherever else. Just track down the original post, leave us a comment there. Chances are, if it's good enough, we will provide some proper hate mail. Yes, so this week, let's get into the person, Mr. Matt. He actually got in touch with us, and he sent us keys for his game. He says, my name is Matt from 2-Hit Studio, and we're about to release Fatal Theory to Steam, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Fatal Theory is a nostalgic beat-em-up action game where you play as Nick Mayhem, nothing subtle, who wastes no time picking up a baseball bat and taking it to the streets when the forces of hell invade a city. Exercise your carnage muscle by smashing through huge hordes, yes, that font is fucking with my brain, of unlovable fiends and take your crummy city back from the clutches of the demon army. Thanks for your time. Feel free to contact us about any questions or interviews. Cheers, Matt from 2-Hit Studio. So, here you go, Matt. This is your time.
They actually sent us keys too, so that's why we're reading.
Yes.
Hey, also available on Desura.
Well, I mean, if you just want the money to go nowhere.
Right. I mean, yeah, you guys might want to update that business. Yeah, that was kind of refreshing to actually see everything done properly. So yeah, there's your little plug. Check it out. I loaded it up. Controller didn't work out of the box, so that's about as far as I got, to be honest with you. Pedro, did you try it out?
I did not. You said that they'd sent us keys and you put them in the doc file, but I never got around to it.
It's so good, I'm grasping my back in agony.
So, our favorite person from Bangladesh, Owen, writes in very succinctly. It's something we don't normally get on this show. Planet Nomads game Linux good yes or good no question mark. Need info comma. Much very. Remember kids, don't drink and hate. Or
What are you talking about? Always drink and hate. Always.
Yes.
No, I'm going to assume I'm going to a bit of a stretch organ here, and so you're talking about the Planet Nomads thing. That is the Besiege in space, right? With the
Yeah, it's the one that had like the demo was literally just Besieged in space. But the game itself is trying to be what No Man's Sky promised to be, but turned out
with a single
not to.
world, no space exploration. Yeah, you jogged
They
my
will
memory
have
with the
space
Besiege
exploration at one point, but yeah, they don't have it
yeah,
yet.
man, they're going to put a moon up there, right?
They say that you will eventually be able to explore other planets, but first they want to get just the basic
Wouldn't it be
mechanics
kind of
down.
like
So
fucked
they're-
up if like you could see like Kerbal ships and shit flying around and exploding in the atmosphere?
thing. Yeah, I want
That's
to see. I want
exactly
to see
what they're going
Plutonians.
for.
We need to go up against the quad laser.
But yeah, right now during the alpha, they are limiting people to just one planet so they can get all the basic mechanics down. It's a good
Well,
idea.
I looked at it and they're like, "Hey, you can get on the alpha," and I was like reading. I was like, maybe we need to do it for the show for a low price of $80 And I was like,
Yeah,
what?
that's the thing. That's a pretty big asking price right then and there. I will have to send them an email at one point, see if they'll send us keys. But yeah, $80, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, yeah. I don't know. I also get a bit of Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts vibes from it, but the less said about that game, the better.
Ukulele is coming. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
cue the ukulele, and because you can always find us around 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Type that in the Googs, it'll figure it out, and we will be there with our horrible disfigured faces. I'm at Vin Stone on the Twitternet. Scream at me there, and I'll scream back at you. One thing, I don't collect followers, so if I don't add you back, it's, if you don't post anything, I normally don't follow you. That's just how it is. Plus Vin Stone on the G+, the same rules apply.
Yeah, I'm Jordan Swung. You can find me somewhere over the rainbow, way up high at the Burning Fool on Twitter, or plus Jordan Swung on Google+.
And going off of Jordan's thing, plagiarism at his finest, I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me somewhere over the rainbow. Way
Go fuck
up.
yourself, Pedro. Fuck you. Be original for once. God damn it.
Hey, man. Listen, we spent a lot of money to make our own 10 Pedro.
But hey, you can always find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
If he only had a brain.
Never.
Yeah, that's what they say. Don't think with your brain. Wait.
Don't think with your head, think with your other head.
No. Be like a lobster. Have your brain like directly connected to your intestines. All you get are shit ideas.
5 dudes.